All right, so what's going on, my friends? Welcome to Sensation of Scorpio. It's your host, Benjamin Valpy. And stay with me, I'm just turning on the lights so we have a little bit better view here. So today we're back with another banger. And basically, I'm going to be talking about the fire. Like when you know those days when you feel like, really good. Like the days are going well and you're like, yeah, I kicked ass today. Like, making things happen. Well, I'm going to talk about that and directing the fire, right? So I play soccer. I'm in business, and I am an energetic, passionate, unleashed force of nature as a human being. And so it takes a lot of energy to follow through with what you want in life, your desires, and what you make. There's a quote, right? When you make your shoulds a must, like your life changes forever. Like that's when your life really takes off, when you make your shoulds a must. So, what does that mean? Basically, that just means that once you raise your standards to your new level of being, right? You raise your standards to the new level that you're going to set out, because one of the strongest forces in humanity is that ability, we stay consistent with who we believe we are. So the strongest force in humanity is to stay consistent with who we believe we are. So when we direct the fire and set new standards, simply making our shoulds our musts, pretty much all that other shitty, crappy, emotions that we experience or things that aren't going well in our life, they simply disappear, because what you focus on becomes your reality, because our brain distorts and deletes. We're faced with so much information bombarding us all the time, right? It's like you can feel your pant legs along your legs, or you can notice the feeling of your hair on your face, or your heart beating, or the air that you're breathing in. Little reminder to myself, just to breathe and stuff. But we couldn't focus on everything all day long at the same time. So in business, right? When we raise our standards, the number one thing we need that's important here is directing the fire, using and cultivating that inner fire, right? So many people give their time and attention to, multitasking or so many different things, just requests. But, action without an intention is just it's a drain of your energy and your better future and your ability to capitalize on your ideas. So what's a simple hack? What's a simple hack that's going to allow us to tap into our best self, that's going to, allow us to, live the life of our dreams, right? Some people live in a nightmare, right? I've had those times in my past, right, when I used to still smoke and drink and do party drugs and stuff like that. And, then, you end up in a hell of your own reality. But like I said, it's all about, changing what you focus on and retaking a hold of your focus and your attention, because where focus goes, energy flows, and what your results you get in your life is what you have been focusing on. So one of the things to cultivate this inner fire that I found is that there's so many things that take our energy throughout the day, right? And, we can build our energy throughout the day. We can tune into higher amounts of energy, right? Like setting a sail. If we set ourselves up and, get into a higher state of being, right? And use ourselves like a sail, metaphorically and kind of physically speaking, then we can tune into higher amounts of energy and be a force for good, so to speak. So how do we stop? How do we feel like unleashed forces of nature every day? Now, this is something I'm still continuing to learn, but I know one thing that I do is I just speak into my life, into reality. Sometimes, it's easy to not use the power of the spoken word. And the power of the spoken word invokes our physiology when we use it and we feel it. It invokes our cortex, and invokes our focus, and it has the power to increase our energy. So, it has to do with the state that we're in, right? So a good way to explain state is your state of being, right? Is have you ever had a time where, you said something or did something and you're Oof, did I really do that? Did I really say that? Like, ugh, and then have you ever had the time where, you've said something or done something and you're like, yes, sir, like that was me. For me, it's like, I got the goals in the soccer. Yeah. Like that was me, because this has to do with the state that we're in. And the state that we're in, that guy's feeling his state on his motorcycle. But the state we have to do in is by how much energy we have available. And we have more energy, the more we only go as far as our physiology allows. So the more we engage with our physiology and don't, there's a Tim Grover quote, right? Like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan's coach, along with other famous basketball players. But I listened to some of his interviews, and they're very interesting because he talks about winning, and some people just aren't willing to go through the grit of winning in their life. And, he talks about like there's not just one step to it, right? There's not just one step to winning. It's so important to invoke your physiology and, just be willing to change our approaches to fit our physiology, because we only go as far as our physiology allows us to go, right? So Kim Grover also talks about this quote of, the mind has to be stronger than the feelings, right? Because the feelings are what will always bring us back to safety. The mind is what sets the trajectory that says, hey, this is what I'm going for, and I will change my approach and I'll be adaptable until I get to that approach. And so it's like our feelings are like the ones that try to second guess us and pull us back to safety, while the mind, right? The mind and invoking our energy, it has to do with body, mind, and soul, is what literally you set the goal, you set the frequency that you're aiming for, and then all the other steps that you learn along the way to invoke your physiology, to invoke your mind, to invoke your unleashed spirit is what, ultimately brings us up to there. But that's all controlled by our human needs, right? We have our needs, certainty, uncertainty, loving connection, and significance. Those are the needs of the personality. And then we have, growth and contribution, right? Which are the needs of the soul, right? Because, when we grow, we have something to give, right? And when we have something to give, we contribute to humanity and we serve something outside of just ourselves, because we're incredibly energetic human beings, right? And part of that is using uncertainty, because we have to be willing to take uncomfortable action, imperfect action, knowing that we're God's highest form of creation right here, right now, gives us permission to fuck up sometimes, right? Sure, practice is like the mother of all skill, is the Tony Robbins quote. He says, sure, the more you do something, the more it gets in your nervous system, especially when it's aligned with passion, and you actually have a burning desire for that thing, and you make your should a must to get it. But that's, ultimately how we're going to, direct our fire, claim more energy, and actually have something to give in our life. So I think it's absolutely beautiful. I just wanted to hop on and share some of this stuff, because it is just like burning through my mind like all day. And I think a lot of people feel this type of stuff. So I just want to come on here and vocalize it and just express some of my energy. It's so great. It's so great. That's the main message: how to direct your energy, get into a powerful state by invoking, by doing something physical, then have your goal, set it, and notice maybe what human needs you're tuned into. Is it so much certainty that you're not having fun and adventure and variety in your life? Are you not going up to the guy or the girl and asking them out, or talking to someone who you want to talk to because you're afraid you won't be loved in return? But it's like, our hearts will be broken sometimes, but we're resilient, and that's not a reason to hold back our gifts in life. It's all about growing and just going for it, and living like each day is like our last. Obviously not doing stupid things, but like, if today was going to be your last day, whose lives would you go and touch? What would you speak? What would you share? what vision would you share with the world? Like, these are the beautiful states, and that's about growth and contribution. And that is limitless. And the more you explore with that, the more you feel like an unleashed force of nature that lives without limitations, that isn't being managed, that isn't second guessing themselves, that's just living, that's just trusting the process, imagining the best, just being alive. Because like I said, we're God's highest form of creation. We have the ability to express ourselves, to be free, to live awesomely, and to trust that we're going to be taken care of, right? Like, not to get all super spiritual on us, but like the entire universe is created, right, through like imperfect action and through like the grace of God. Like, we're going to turn out all right as long as we continue to have a vision for where we want to go, and we just continue to trust the process, because God is a miracle worker, whatever we want to call it, cosmic energy, the force of creation, the vibrating atoms in everything that come together and create in beautiful creations, like whatever you want to call it, whatever you believe and trust. But it's so beautiful. And uncertainty is this a fun thing to tune into. So honestly, so much love, so much blessings. I'm glad you got to see this message today. And I hope this inspires you to go out there and just do something uncertain, to grow, to contribute, and just to maybe do something you wouldn't usually do on your everyday. And also to, claim more energy, and then direct it towards something that will take a lot of, unwinding, right? Exploring how you can open up and become like more, and just express more, and just feel more energy, and just really feel unleashed in your life. So with that, so much blessings to you. We'll see you in the next video. Namaste. Om Gam Ganapati Ye Namaha. Om Shanti 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 Om. All right, love you.